Hey, welcome to Bollox Talks and Tangents. It's Thursday at 6:34. That means it's
6:34.
It's time for us to get a drink, talk a little bit of history, and just enjoy the night.
Enjoy the night. Enjoy each other's company.
Yes.
Absolutely. It's good to see you. You look dapper with that hat.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Well, we're talking about the Wild West tonight, and I was like, okay, do I wear a cowboy hat or do I wear something? And cowboy hats really were only for cowboys, so this was more of a gentleman's Wild West hat.
I like the gentleman's Wild West hat. It reminds me of famous cowboys I watched growing up.
Yes.
Who weren't actual cowboys.
They weren't actually cowboys. They probably first time on a horse when you saw them.
Probably so.
So, but we got a lot of great stuff to go over. We're talking about snacks, and we have snacks in here. So we kind of.
These are way too good, by the way.
Yeah. So we have snacks in here, but we got to thank our sponsors first off.
Yes, we do.
City Gates Distillery. Tonight you are providing us with. Oh, I forgot to put the bottle up there.
Put the bottle up there.
I forgot to put the bottle up there. The cinnamon whiskey. All right. So a lot of people do the Fireball, do this. This is so much smoother.
It is so much nicer than Fireball.
It doesn't feel like you're hurting yourself with it. It is 30% alcohol, so it's a great flavored whiskey. You can drink it, and I mean it is just a wonderful cinnamon whiskey.
Yeah, it's a sipping whiskey. It's so much. You're right, Troy. It's so much better than Fireball. It doesn't have that. Oh, I'm 19 in a frat house. Regret feeling that Fireball brings. No, this is beautiful.
It's. I mean, I can see it being like dropping it into like a coffee or something like that, and making it, just a wonderful, wonderful drink.
Yeah.
So, and I ran into Will Tuesday night. Great seeing you, Will and Philip McDaniel. Thank you guys again for your sponsorship.
Yeah, much appreciated.
Such wonderful people. But check them out. City Gates Distillery, St. Augustine Distillery. Wonderful people here, local. Just putting out a great product.
They put out a great product.
All right.
900-degree pizza and pasta. Ladies and gentlemen, I love this place. The pizzas are amazing. The sauce is amazing. It's on Lewis Speedway. It's right by St. Augustine High School. If you're over at the high school, if you're a high school student, if you're a parent of a high school student, and you're in the vicinity, and you're looking for something, dinner, lunch, whatever, hit up 900-degree pizza. It's amazing.
Yeah, check them out. All right, Abare, Kresge and Associates. These are my accountants. They do an amazing job. I did have to write a check this week, which wasn't comfortable, but it was much better and more comfortable because I knew my guys at Abare and Kresge.
Yeah, without those guys, the check would have been deeply uncomfortable.
It would have been really uncomfortable, and I probably would have been nervous what I forgot. These guys help you get through that process like nobody else.
If you've got a business, small business, if you just need someone to do your taxes, these are the guys to hit up. They keep Troy out of jail. They're protecting Blake's inheritance. What more do you need to know?
This is true. Both are true. All right. Beacon Listening Room. So Tuesday night they had Chip Carey from the Atlanta Braves there. I was there last night. Had a great crowd there. They just do an incredible job over there. They have great food. Gypsy Cab, Gypsy Chicken it's legendary. It's just the best meal in town.
Like if you're in town, if you're new to town, you have to try Gypsy Chicken. There's something about it. It's an iconic dish in St.
And their salad dressing
to die for.
Never disappoints.
And Frank does a great job.
Yeah.
He really does. Look, the Beacon Listener, great place to listen to music. Check it out. Seriously, it's a wonderful spot.
All right. Meehan's Irish Pub. Probably going to be there at some point this weekend, if not tonight.
I probably will be there myself sometime this weekend, yes.
Right. And the thing about the Meehans that makes it so special, they have great food there, too. So they have great food, a great view, 3 different bars. They got Johnny's Oyster Bar upstairs. Yeah. They got the backyard with Hubble and Kelly and the whole crew back there. And the bar inside just makes it feel like you're in a pub.
It really does. To me, it's the best point of Guinness outside of Ireland. The view is incredible. The food is absolutely amazing. Get yourselves out there. If you haven't been downtown, if you're local, you haven't been downtown in a while, haven't been in Meehan's for a while, revisit it because it's wonderful.
Yeah. So, no, it's just when we weren't going to say how nice Reggie is, but we can't not say
we can't not say it. Yeah,
he's a nice guy.
He really
nice guy. All right. St. Augustine Pirate Museum. I also saw this crew on Tuesday night. I did the trolley event for the
20-year anniversary.
20-year anniversary. I was over there and got to see a lot of great people and saw a lot of our sponsors there. But I talked to Cindy. They do just an amazing job at the St. Augustine Pirate Museum.
They really do. And they're such contributors to the community. You know, they're part of the sponsors for Pink Up the Pace, which is happening this Sunday. And again, I believe, and I hope I'm not wrong on this, but I believe if you're in the race, you can get to go to the Pirate Museum. As part of the deal. But they do a great job. They help out all the local events like that, and I think that says so much about Cindy. Says so much about Pat.
Yeah, the Kresge family.
The museum's incredible.
Yeah.
Get your butt out there. The holiday season is coming. If you got family coming into town and you're looking for something to do, go to the Pirate Museum.
If you've never been, treat yourself and go.
Yeah.
Just go. So
it's fantastic.
Yeah. All right. We got so much to talk about. I mean, we got so much fun. We kind of threw some things at each other on Monday. We and how it works is you and I literally will text back and forth.
Yeah.
And we'll go, how about this? How about this? Okay, let's go with that. And that's how it
ends up.
That's how we land. And then we don't research together.
No.
So you bring in yours, I bring in mine, and then we bounce everything off each other.
Sometimes it's the same, and sometimes it's completely different.
Completely different. And I love when it's completely different.
I do too.
That way I'm learning the same time. So,
yeah.
But word origins. What word origins are you going to start us off with today?
So I'm going to start it off with one I think a lot of people have probably heard. It's either a long road to hoe or a hard row to hoe.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people think it's a long road to hoe, or a hard road, but it's row, because you'd have a hard time hoeing a road.
It depends on the road. South Carolina, you could probably do it.
Yeah, you probably could in South Carolina. Shout out to South Carolina, the worst roads in the nation.
In the nation.
My car thanks you.
Yeah, congratulations. Their roads are so horrible.
So bad.
So horrible.
Don't get me started. I could go down that rabbit hole for a long time. I won't.
Oh, no. It's called tangents. We can go wherever the hell we want.
Okay. South Carolina. What the hell is the problem? If I'm on 95 going north, Florida, 3 lanes. Georgia, 3 lanes. If I'm coming south out of North Carolina, 3 lanes. The minute I cross the fucking state line in South Carolina, 2 lanes.
And they're horrible.
Horrible lanes. Traffic jams everywhere. There's always an accident. And this may surprise everybody, but guess which state is 50th in infrastructure spending?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Fix your roads, people.
And they're not that poor.
No.
No, they have, a good tourism. I mean, they're not poor.
South of the border could bring in enough
that's what I'm saying.
Build some roads.
I can tell you this. When I walked from here to DC, obviously I had to walk through South Carolina.
Sorry about that.
By far the worst roads. Like not even close. Not even close. Like Florida has good roads. We have good roads. Georgia has pretty decent roads. South Carolina, awful.
Awful roads.
Awful.
Yeah.
North Carolina does a good job with their roads. Yeah. So I don't get. They're surrounded by everything. You'd think they'd be embarrassed by it, but I think it's like a badge of honor for them. So, all right.
Anyway,
we went on that tangent. All right.
Long road to hoe. It's an old farming saying. Mm-hmm. It basically means you got a difficult job ahead of you. It relates to having a long row in your farm, a long furrow to hoe, H-O-E, for all of you out there.
Yeah.
And it basically means you've got to dig it up, and it's going to be tough. Maybe it's a tough job. Land. It's a tough job.
Tough job.
Yeah.
So it's clearly a farming term.
Clearly a farming term.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Can't hold a candle. Oh, he can't hold a candle to you.
Jesus, that fella couldn't hold a candle to him.
Do you know where it comes from?
I've no idea.
All right. So it came from the 17th century. All right. And, a lot of times, and Blake helped me today with some car issues.
Uh-huh.
So, the person that has to hold the flashlight, Blake was that person today in theory. All right.
Okay.
But Blake's like, no, please don't bring me into this. All right. But it came down to an apprentice when he was helping his master or whoever it was. And if he was a terrible apprentice, he couldn't even hold a candle.
Oh, he couldn't even hold a candle right. There you go. I
couldn't even
love
hold
that.
a candle right. Yeah. So, and that's where the term came from. It was the apprentice of whatever craft it was, and he was so bad at his job he couldn't even hold a candle.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I like the ones where they're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, Blake had a dead battery today. So we were
Better a dead battery than a dead body.
yeah, good point. But so we were learning how to change a battery and then how to jump a battery first, and then we couldn't do it, so we had to take the battery out. But yeah, Blake got some lessons today.
Life skills.
Yeah, life skills, and when working with Dad.
I'm sure there was no yelling.
No,
None.
No.
All positive reinforcement.
There was. I don't have to yell because like on my face, it pretty much says, "Okay, what the hell are you doing?"
You've got resting yell face.
I have.
Yeah, but especially when you told me not to crank up my car when your good car, your engine's not running.
Yeah. So I thought he had my car going.
Yeah.
All right, because you're supposed to have the car that has the good battery running before you try and crank up the other one.
This I know.
Yeah. So Blake kind of had the order of operation out of sync a little bit.
Oh, learning is fun.
Yeah.
Learning is
Was
fun.
it fun, Blake?
No.
We can't hear you in here. Are you talking in the microphone?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
All right. So my next one is get off your high horse.
Okay.
Get off your high
My
horse.
mom uses this term a lot.
So obviously it means stop being an arrogant prick. Stop being condescending. Like
A lot of
you know-
people say this to me. I don't know why. It's weird.
I don't know either.
It's weird. Awkward.
So it goes all the way back to the 13th and 14th century, medieval times,
Okay.
when the landed gentry and the lords and the knights, particularly when they're heading off to battle, they would ride war horses. And war horses were traditionally bigger even than regular horses.
Yeah.
And so it came to be, look at him up there on his high horse.
Gotcha.
And in order to bring you down to size, they were saying, get off your high horse.
Like
And
you're acting like royalty.
yeah, you're acting
Got
like
it?
royalty. Yeah. Kind
Got
of
it.
cool.
No, it completely makes sense.
All right.
All right. So because of what we're doing in the show, I was like, okay, let me see if I can come up with a term and try and figure out where it comes from.
Okay.
So I went with the term Geronimo, like when people jump out
Geronimo!
of a plane or jump off
Yeah.
a cliff or jump out. And in my mind, I thought I knew what it meant.
Okay.
And then when I did the research, I was completely wrong. All right, because in my mind, and listen, because I heard this somewhere, and I just continued with the story.
Well, yeah, well, hey, sometimes if the stories are good, though.
All right,
You know.
so what I had heard when the paratroopers first started, this is what I heard. When
Okay.
paratroopers first started, they had a slack line, and you couldn't pull the cord until you cleared the plane a certain way. And what I was told prior to that is if you yelled Geronimo and then pulled the cord, you were clear of the plane.
Okay, the length of time. All right. Okay.
Okay. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Completely wrong. All right. And this story's great.
Okay.
It still goes to paratroopers.
All right.
All right. So the group, a group at Fort Benning, started drinking the night before, viewing a Wild West movie. Okay. The name of the movie, 1939 film, was called Geronimo,
Okay.
starring Andy Devine and Chief Thundercloud. All right. Private Aubrey Eberhart, and this I confirmed it like 3 different ways.
All right.
Because I was like, okay, I wanted mine to be right.
Yeah.
Completely wrong. All right. So the private kept boasting and kept bragging. He was drinking. He was getting drunker and kept boasting that he wasn't afraid to. He wasn't
jump.
afraid to jump, and because everybody, it was like all of them's like first time doing it. I mean, we're
Okay.
talking 1940, prior to World War II.
Right. Not a lot of parachute jumping
No,
before that. Yeah.
no. And what they were supposed to do was yell out your name as you jump. Like I would yell out Blevins,
Okay.
and jump. Like so they knew who was clearing
Who was
and
clearing,
cleared the
yeah,
plane
yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Well, evidently Private Eberhart was getting so drunk they were making fun of him and they said, "You're probably going to be so drunk you'll forget to say your name." All right. Here's this guy. He's 6'8".
6'8".
He's 6'8".
A paratrooper, 6'8".
So the planes aren't very big and stuff like that. So and evidently he was a pretty entertaining guy.
Yeah.
And so he wanted to get a laugh out of his friends. He just happened to yell out Geronimo instead of his name. All the other ones yelled out their names. And here's this big gangly guy yells out Geronimo. All right. And it basically became a tradition from that point on.
That everybody...
It got around so quick. So it became a new military position, and it says here that some top military brass were in love with the new tradition, but others thought it invoked bravery and daring of the Apache chief. So, they attached it to yelling out being brave because Geronimo was such a brave warrior that they attached it to that. So they allowed the paratroopers to keep the tradition going.
Oh, that is a great story.
But I've been wrong for 20 years thinking it was completely different.
The truth is actually a better story.
Yeah. No, it's a wonderful story. Here's a private who we're talking about 80 years later.
Yeah. 6'8".
6'8" paratrooper.
Fuck.
Probably the tallest man to jump out of a plane at that time.
Yeah, I'm going to say maybe ever.
Yeah. But he was 6'8".
Wow.
So, Private Eberhart, thanks for... Because, when we were kids, we'd jump off something, we'd yell Geronimo.
We would do it in Ireland.
In Ireland, you would do it
we
too.
would yell Geronimo. Wow. Yeah. We were addicted to Westerns in Ireland.
Oh, yeah.
We were addicted to
You told me John
Westerns.
Wayne was like
John Wayne was the
beast.
god in Ireland. An absolute god.
Yeah. So when I looked that up, I was like completely caught off guard because I thought, I was like, okay, I'm going to corroborate this story that I've known for 20 years. Nope. Couldn't find that anywhere in the mix at all. But it completely made sense in my mind when it was explained to me. That's how long you needed to get past the plane, to clear the plane before you pulled your chute.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, is that
completely wrong?
Is that a good segue into our?
We can go Wild West right now.
Let's go Wild West.
All right. So let's start straight with the man Geronimo.
How about Geronimo?
All right. Did you do Geronimo at all?
I did not.
All right. So Geronimo was actually a fierce warrior. He was an Apache warrior. And by 17, he was leading parties of his own.
Okay.
Like attack parties and hunting parties and different things like that. So, he just was a medicine man.
Yeah.
He wasn't really a chief, but he was followed by so many, he kind of became a chief, not officially, but he became a chief. Like Osceola. Osceola was never a chief. He was a warrior. But I didn't realize the connection between Cochise and Geronimo.
Okay.
So Geronimo was a warrior under Cochise.
Oh, Cochise was the chief.
Cochise was the chief. So Geronimo was a warrior under Cochise. And at one point, Geronimo spoke Spanish, English, Apache. I mean, he spoke like 6 different dialects.
That's incredible.
He was a brilliant guy. He was their medicine man.
Yeah.
So, but at one point, Geronimo was Cochise's interpreter for the U.S. military.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. I love that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I had no idea the connection. I mean, the two most famous, those are the two that I was like, okay, these are probably the 2 most respected ones that I know.
Yeah.
And those two were...
They were both Apache and they were at the same
both Apache
time.
from the same area, same region, same tribe.
So what happened to Geronimo at the end of the day?
All right, so at Geronimo, he got caught probably in 1872 or something like that.
Okay.
And he decided, okay, I'm just going to go on the run. It was probably a little bit earlier than that.
Yeah.
But he went on the run. And in 1885, he got captured again.
Okay.
And he escaped in the middle of the night with 40 other members of the tribe. He got 40 other members out. And then they went on a huge manhunt. So the U.S. Army put 5,000 troops just to chase one man. So 1/3 of the U.S. Army armed forces was chasing one man. and Geronimo finally gave himself up. He knew he was kind of running out of energy, and his people. He was making his people walk up to 70 miles a day.
70 miles a day?
Yeah. To get away from the military.
Away from the military.
Because they were constantly hiding from the military for like 5 months.
Yeah.
Like when this big manhunt hit. All right. So in the movie Geronimo that they talk about, the more recent movie, I think it was in the mid-90s, they actually say that Geronimo's coming to Fort Marion, St. Augustine.
St. Augustine, yeah. The Castillo.
He didn't make it.
Yeah.
He never made it here. Two of his wives made it here.
Yeah.
But he never made it here. He got stopped somewhere in Pensacola, and then they sent him to Oklahoma. But he would leave for Wild West shows and do photo ops with different people. I mean, he was the most famous American Indian, Native American, and the wildest thing was he participated in Teddy Roosevelt's inauguration.
Holy shit!
And when he asked if him and his family and some of the other people could go back to Arizona. Teddy didn't give it to him.
Wow!
He didn't give it to him.
Damn.
He lived to be 80 years old.
So he was in the Buffalo Bills Wild West show.
Yeah,
he appeared in that.
He was allowed to leave the reservation because he was a prisoner.
Yeah,
he had to get special permission to go to the Wild West shows. And most of the Wild West shows, he really didn't do a whole lot of stuff. He was there for photo ops.
Photo ops, and that was it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because he was an old man at that time.
Yeah.
So he was 55 when he was captured in '86. So he's exactly my age, which is an old man.
And you're not walking 70 miles a day.
Not today. I tried 29. That was enough.
So the first guy I looked up was Wild Bill Hickok.
Okay.
And the reason I looked up Wild Bill Hickok, I was in Deadwood, South Dakota.
Okay.
For a friend's 40th birthday. Close to 20 years ago. And we went out the morning after the big party to Boot Hill, the cemetery in Deadwood.
Gotcha.
And buried in this cemetery is Wild Bill Hickok, and right next to him is Calamity Jane.
Yes.
And it blew my mind.
Yes.
Because I thought that the Wild West, growing up in Ireland, the Wild West meant the West.
Yeah.
And here I am in South Dakota.
Yeah.
Which is not the West. It's more north and central than west.
Yeah.
And I'm in Boot Hill, and these are these two legends.
Yeah.
Right? So when we decided we were going to do Wild West Legends, I was like, Wild Bill Hickok.
You got to do
That's
it.
my man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the story I think everybody knows about him is that he was killed in the number 10 saloon in Deadwood.
Yes.
And he was shot in the back of the head by a fella called Jack McCall in 1876. And he was shot holding a hand of cards, which is now known as the dead man's hand.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is?
It's jacks and something like Jackson 10. Okay.
It's aces and eights.
Aces and eights.
And it's two black aces and two black eights.
Gotcha.
Aces and eights. And lots of people have wondered what the whole card was. It doesn't really
No
matter.
one knows what it is.
No one knows what it is.
You can't say it.
But when I started looking up about Wild Bill, I discovered a ton of things about him. He was a spy, a Union spy during the Civil War. Mm-hmm. His father was an abolitionist, right?
Okay.
His father, the house in which Wild Bill grew up in, was a stop on the Underground Railroad.
When it started going north.
Now when it was here. When it started going north, right? So he was from Homer, Illinois.
Yeah.
And his dad was an abolitionist. And they had a station on the Underground Railroad. And when he was a young man, he went to the Kansas Territory, 1855, 1856. And he actually joined a bunch of anti-slavery vigilantes under the leadership of a guy called Jim Lane.
Okay.
And they were known as the Jayhawkers.
Okay.
Jayhawks, go Kansas. And their whole thing was they were basically a vigilante militia trying to help
free
slaves. And
that's crazy.
Incredible stuff, right?
Yeah.
And he was involved in all kinds of shenanigans.
Yeah.
Like, he ran brothels, absolutely. One of his wives was definitely a prostitute.
Yeah.
He was a lawman. He was a U.S. Marshal. He was a close personal friend of Buffalo Bill Cody.
Yeah.
But he was also a marksman. And the best story I came across, and again, I did not know this, in 1865, June the 21st, 1865, in Springfield, Missouri.
Okay. Shortly after that makes it shortly after the Civil War.
Yeah?
So Lincoln's been assassinated.
Lincoln's been assassinated.
Okay.
He is involved in the first ever quick draw shootout in the history of the United States of America.
Wow. Like standing in front.
Standing in front and you draw your gun and you shot. This is the first ever quick draw duel.
So it wasn't a take 10 paces, turn around and shoot and throw away your shot.
Yeah. And so he dueled a guy called Davis Tutt. And Davis Tutt was like Wild Bill, a gambler. Wild Bill was basically a professional gambler.
Yes.
And Davis Tutt had won a gold watch playing cards from Wild Bill.
Okay.
And the gold watch had deep personal value to Wild Bill. I couldn't find out. I went down a few different tangents, a few rabbit holes, couldn't find out why.
Couldn't find a picture of the watch.
But the agreement was, Davis Tutt it was fine that he won the gold watch, but Wild Bill basically said, never wear it in public.
Yeah. Oh.
And a year later, Davis Tutt was seen with this thing in public. Him and Wild Bill had words, challenged each other to a duel, and on the main street in the center of Springfield, Missouri, they stood side on, 75 feet away. And somebody went, and they drew. David Tutt missed, and Wild Bill shot him through the heart. Wow. Yeah.
From 75 feet.
75 feet, shot him through the heart. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Now, apparently...
But him and Calamity Jane, weren't they a couple?
No.
They
this
weren't?
is the thing. So, again, I thought they were a couple.
I thought they were a couple.
So I was reading about this. He hated her.
Really?
He found her annoying.
That doesn't mean they're not a couple.
No, well, yeah, it doesn't, to be fair. But apparently he found her really annoying.
Yeah.
And so when they...
Well, she wasn't a very attractive woman, was she?
She was... No, she was really ugly.
She was not attractive.
Yeah.
Let's just go with that. I don't want to body shame anybody, but she was not attractive.
Apparently, she really liked him and he really did not like her. And so when she died, as a joke... The guys at the funeral, in the graveyard, he was already dead.
Oh.
They buried her next to him.
I always thought they were a couple.
No, I did too. Until I started
They
researching.
travel together so much and stuff like that. I just always thought they were a couple. That's hilarious.
And my last little story about good old Wild Bill was, there was a fella called Phil Coe, C-O-E, and he was talking smack about how great a marksman he was, and he said he could shoot a crow on the wing from 100 paces. Mm-hmm. And supposedly Wild Bill said, is the crow armed? Does the crow shoot back? 'Cause I will. And a couple of days later, Wild Bill shot and killed Phil Coe. I love, does the crow shoot back?
Yeah. Only if he's straight above you.
Yeah, really. Okay, so who you got?
No, all right, so you talked about Deadwood, so we'll go to Doc Holliday. And Doc Holliday was a legitimate doc. He was a dentist.
Yeah.
All right. But he started suffering from tuberculosis.
Yeah.
And, he had to jump around quite a bit because he was also a professional gambler.
He was, yeah.
He was a professional gambler. And we talked about this last week. In the movie, they said, I'll be your huckleberry.
Right.
Which is not what he probably said, I'll be your hucklebearer.
Right.
But I thought Doc Holliday died almost immediately after, because he's portrayed as being so sick in the movie and stuff like that. He lived another 7 years.
In Tombstone, right?
Yeah, in Tombstone. He lived another 7 years.
Okay.
But it made it sound like, okay, this guy's on his deathbed and he lived another 7 years after the OK Corral.
Right.
So I found that very interesting. But this guy... he was a marksman also, but never toured. Wild Bill became famous. Cody became famous. These guys all became famous doing their barnstorming.
Yeah.
But Doc Holliday was probably the most famous dentist of all time.
Of all time. For sure he was, yeah.
You know another dentist that is that?
No.
No. But I mean, it wasn't like.
So tell me about the gunfight at the OK Corral.
All right. So at the OK Corral, Holiday was friends with Wyatt Earp and the Earp family.
He was, yeah.
So the two other brothers, and
Virgil and Marshall Earp.
Yeah. Yeah. There was another brother too, but he wasn't there.
Yeah.
But what happened is it was a spat between was it Daltons?
The Clantons.
Clantons. Sorry, I had the Daltons in my head. The Clantons, and Earp was a lawman, but he kind of stretched that a little bit.
He did. He had all kinds of legends that weren't true about him. Yeah.
Yeah. So he kind of stretched it, and because he outlived all his enemies, he got to write the history.
He did, yeah.
So that's kind of why the Earps turned out on the good side of history.
Yeah.
But it could have been the Earps started the fight.
Most of the stuff that I read suggested that it was the McClures and the Clantons, and apparently they were raising their hands to sort of say, hey, because Virgil Earp was the U.S. Marshal in the territory, and Wyatt had just been deputized. He wasn't the lead guy.
Wyatt always had a little cloud around him.
Yeah.
Virgil was pretty straight up.
He was.
What I read.
From what I read too, yeah.
And actually, Doc Holliday, even though he's got run out of town a couple times for shooting different people, but he never really was put on trial.
No, he wasn't.
And he had justified shootings, like 4 different justified shootings, which is kind of rare.
Well, and he saved Wyatt Earp's life in Texas. That's when they met.
Yeah.
Somebody got the drop on Earp, and then Doc Holliday got up from the poker table with a shotgun, and basically he was like...
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people, like you talked about the shootouts, like, and it being like that. What I can tell from the OK Corral, it was Virgil had a shotgun. He was kind of not able to be seen, and then when the shooting started, that's when So that's how the Earps came out okay.
Well, I think it was, and it lasted about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was definitely not a fair fight.
Oh no. It was not like they show in the movies. It was not 8 guys standing face to face.
Nope. They were only about, what I read, they were only about 10 or 12 feet away from each other.
Yeah, no, they were in an alley.
Yeah.
So it was completely different than what was on the movie screen.
So I got some stuff on Wyatt Earp. So
yeah, Blake.
All right. So we have time for we need time for an ad break. But before you read off your ads, which movie adaptation of the OK Corral is your favorite?
I think Tombstone's still the best of it. So I mean, just great actors. I mean, Billy Bob playing the bad guy. Billy Bob Thornton playing the bad guy. I mean,
Tombstone's a great movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
So what I discovered afterwards was, because they felt the McClures and the Clantons thought they were ambushed, they went out after, like a couple of months later, they ambushed the Earps, and they badly wounded Virgil.
Yeah.
And a couple of months after that, they shot and killed Marshall, the younger brother.
Yeah.
Killed him.
Yeah. See, they made it sound like it all happened at once.
No.
It was months later.
Yeah. But before we do the ad break, so Wyatt Earp, years later, when he died, do you know what he was most famous for?
I don't know.
When he died, he was most famous for, he was refereeing the heavyweight title fight between Bob Fitzsimmons and Tom Sharkey in 1890-something in San Francisco. And the story is that the fight was fixed, and Earp was part of the fix.
Yeah. No, he wasn't. He was a shady dude.
Totally corrupt dude. That whole story itself is bonkers. It's a great story. So maybe we should do heavyweight crazy fights or something.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can tell you one of the ones, and I didn't look this up, and you said you didn't either, and I kind of was hoping you went there because we're both wearing them. Levi Strauss.
Yeah.
So we should possibly do something along the clothing stuff too.
Definitely.
But you have one more that you want to do?
I have a couple more. Maybe we come back to them another day because I think in the interest of time. But Buffalo Bill Cody, quickly.
Yes, let's do Buffalo Bill
Buffalo
Cody.
Bill Cody. So he's known as Buffalo Bill because there was another guy whose nickname was Buffalo Bill Comstock. And they were arguing over who deserved to have the name. And so they decided to have a shootout over the course of, I don't know, maybe 4 hours. How many buffalo could you shoot in 4 hours? And Comstock came back and he shot 48 buffalo. And Buffalo Bill Cody had shot 68. And so he won.
So he got to keep the name.
And afterwards, Buffalo Bill said Comstock was chasing the herd from the rear and picking them off, leaving a trail over something like 6 miles of dead buffalo. Buffalo Bill Cody rode to the front, shot the leaders of the herd, and then all the rest of the buffalo just stood around confused because the leaders were dead. And he was able to pick them off at his leisure.
Yeah, it's just horrible. Just horrible.
But my other two quick ones on Buffalo Bill, he was a Medal of Honor winner.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know that.
He won the Medal of Honor in 1872 for fighting in some Indian wars.
Okay.
2 days before he died in 1917, they stripped him of the Medal of Honor. Not because he did anything wrong, but because he wasn't officially a soldier. And they had redesignated the Medal of Honor to just be military.
So they took it from him.
Took it from him and about 80 or 90 other people. And in 1989, a senator from Wyoming, the town of Cody, Wyoming, of course named after Buffalo Bill, and a congressman from Kansas got together and worked to reinstate the Medal of Honor for Buffalo Bill Cody, and he was given it back again.
Did they just do it for Cody, or did they do it for everyone else?
They just did it for Cody, and he was re-awarded it posthumously in 1989.
That's not right if the other 69 people deserved it.
Yeah. How about that, though?
That's pretty wild. That's
cool
crazy
story.
stuff. Crazy stuff. All right, we got to talk about our sponsors real quick because we got snacks to get to. City Gates Distillery and St. Augustine Distillery, some of the best tasting. Go in there, try what you want to try, and then buy the bottle. I'm telling you right now, this cinnamon whiskey,
it's lovely.
It's really good stuff.
It's really lovely. Guys, the holiday season's coming up. This is the perfect gift. City Gates Distillery or St. Augustine Distillery. They're bourbon, straight up fantastic.
Yeah, excellent.
They're great guys.
Excellent. 900-degree pizza and pasta. One of our favorite pizzas. I mean, we had it last weekend here.
Yeah, I got it last week. Got a takeout during the week.
When we opened the box, it was just like, oh, that's how a pizza's supposed to look.
Yeah.
So it's so good. And they just do an amazing job. Great people over there, always helping out the community, trying to do stuff, do it the right way.
Good folks, make great pizza.
Chris Cheshire, appreciate you partnering up with us. All right, go ahead.
Abare, Kresge, and Associates. They are the opposite of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. These guys are straight up the best accountants in town. They keep Troy straight. They protect the Blake's inheritance. If you have a small business, if you just want somebody to do your taxes,
or nonprofit,
if you're sick and tired, or any nonprofit stuff, these guys are absolutely incredible. And again, one of the things I want to say about all of our sponsors are involved in the community.
Yes.
All of our sponsors are involved in making the town of St. Augustine what it is. So seriously, support our sponsors because they support our town.
Well, just by sponsoring us, I mean, they're supporting local.
They are,
and
yeah.
I appreciate that. I mean, this next one, Frank, who I've been friends with for a long, long time, the Beacon Listening Room in Gypsy Cab.
Yeah.
So he
Incredible.
took over tradition, and it got...
and he didn't change it.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. He kind of just honed it a little bit. I think he made it a little bit better.
He took the corner bar and created something that the island needed, the Beacon Listening Room, and I think it's the best spot on the island for music.
I love it because I can get out of my neighborhood, cross one road, go to the Beacon, and then I'm back in my neighborhood to go home. It's easy as hell. I'm on the bike or I'm walking.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
No, and I'm enjoying. I have a great crowd on Wednesday nights. If you guys want to get out and do a little trivia Wednesday nights, wonderful people over there. I mean, the entire group.
And you were jammed.
They heckle me and I heckle them, and it's a beautiful thing.
And your jokes are as fresh as they were in 1996.
Yes, because they're the exact same jokes. Meehan's Irish Pub. I'm telling you, I'm a guy who likes to belly up to the bar and have a meal.
Yeah.
You can have so many great meals over there. What's your go-to meal with at Meehan's?
Okay, so the Tommy Dolan burger.
Okay.
I love the Tommy Dolan
yeah.
burger. It's just a fucking great burger.
Yeah.
And I get that, and then a pint of Guinness, I'm happy out.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can tell you right now, I love their pot pie.
Yeah.
Or,
It's good pot pie.
Or the shepherd's pie.
to be fair.
Shepherd's pie, sorry about that. And I just started doing their meatloaf over there, and it is phenomenal.
I've never had the meatloaf.
It is phenomenal. It's so good. Blake, what is your go-to over there?
I'll probably either go with the mac and cheese or the tenders.
The mac and cheese is
Mac and
solid.
cheese. Yeah,
the
solid.
tenders
It's
is-
solid. Yeah.
All right. St. Augustine Pirate Museum, just wonderful people. I'm glad they're partnering with us. They have a go-to destination in St. Augustine. If you have not been, you need to go to the Pirate Museum.
I can't talk enough about how good this museum is. Like, I go there several times a year. I take the boys. Each time we have a great day. We're in there for hours. I'm not joking. We are in there for hours. The lads are opening drawers. We're figuring stuff out. And when we leave, we have tons of questions and we're talking about stuff on the way home.
Yeah.
And it's magic. Cindy, we really appreciate what you're doing for all the stuff you do in the town. Pat, thanks very much for sponsoring us, but also for giving us such a damn good museum. It's really great.
No, it's a gem. Gem
is a
in
gem.
St. Augustine. We're so happy the Croce family brought it from Key West up here.
Yeah.
So just so happy they're our sponsors. So, and great seeing you, Cindy, on Tuesday night.
Thanks,
so,
lads.
all right, guess what we're switching to? Snacks.
What do you got there, Troy?
Ooh. I have the prize. All right, I have Cracker Jack. All right, Cracker Jack's one of the oldest snacks out there. It goes back to the 1860s.
What a long time ago.
1860s. All right. So, and most people associate Cracker Jacks with baseball.
Yes, they do.
I associate Cracker Jack with baseball.
And why do you associate Cracker Jack with baseball?
Because of the song.
Take me out.
Take me out to the ball game.
Right.
Buy me some peanuts and
Cracker Jack.
Cracker
Buy me
Jack.
some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't know. Yeah.
And it's Cracker Jack, no S.
Yeah. Cracker Jack. Simple as
No
that.
S. No S at all. And I still love them.
Yeah.
love them. But the song came out in 1908.
Yeah.
All right. Blake said the person that wrote the song may have never went to a baseball game.
That's what you think.
you read?
Yeah. That's what. Yeah.
All right, which is really, really cool. I'm going to find that gentleman's name real quick.
So the guy.
And his name is Jack Norworth.
That's the guy who wrote the
Yep.
"Take Me Out of the Ballpark." Wow.
Yep. And Cracker Jack was reportedly to be sold at ball games as early as 1866.
Wow.
Yep.
So the company was started in the 1890s. Do you know what? It was a German guy who started the company, Fritz Ruckheim.
Yeah.
And he ended up in Chicago to help clean up after the Great Fire in the 1870s. That's how he ended up in Chicago.
Yeah.
And he was there, and then he got involved in the whole making snacks kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he trademarked the name in 1893 or 94.
Okay.
Had a big deal at the Chicago World's Fair at 1893.
Yeah.
The Cracker Jack was a huge hit. Do you know where it got the name?
No.
Oh, this is my favorite part. So they didn't have a name for it. They had some other rather generic molasses flavored popcorn or
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
But there was an expression back in the day that meant this is amazing. Oh my God, this is the best stuff. And the expression was Cracker Jack. This is Cracker Jack. And so one of the samplers at the World's Fair in Chicago, 1893, said,
Cracker Jack.
"This is Cracker Jack." And they went,
Aha.
"This is Cracker Jack."
Yeah.
Yep. That's what it is from now on.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. So, quick trivia question for you. So in the original version of "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," what is the name that Jack Norwood says? There's a woman named in there.
I don't know.
Yeah. So in the original 1908 version, there was a woman named Katie Casey that was in the lyrics of the original song. So it basically goes like original first part, then the chorus, "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," then another part of the song.
Huh.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and also apparently Norwood never saw a baseball game until 32 years after the song was released.
So they didn't go to
love
a
it.
baseball
Okay.
game until 1940.
Yes.
Wow.
So obviously Harry Carey, grandfather of Chip,
Yep.
he used to sing "Take Me Out of the Ballpark" during the 7th-inning stretch, right?
Yeah. That's sung in every.
But I think today we do we do America the Beautiful a lot, or we sing
No,
something
they
during...
still sing "Take Me Out to the
Good,
Ball
I'm
Game."
glad, because that's what it should be about.
So think like on Sunday, like on Sundays, like during baseball games, like day games, they do sing "God Bless America." Then
God Bless America, that's
Then
what
take
it
me
is.
out to the ball game
But
afterwards.
they sing it too. I'm putting my sailor
Put your
Cracker
sailor on
Jack
there.
on my hat.
The Sailor was his grandson.
That was my prize.
Yeah, the Sailor. On the Cracker Jack thing. That started in like 1917, 1980. Was it the grandson of the original guy,
Yep.
Fritz? Yeah.
So, all right. So what snack you got?
So I got Fritos.
Okay.
Fritos. Yeah. So Fritos. Today the Frito-Lay company is the largest snack company in the world.
Okay.
And it's the Frito company. They joined with Lay's in the 1960s. But before that, obviously individual companies. But Fritos comes from, it's the corn chip recipe. And it was a guy called Edward Doolan who actually bought this recipe
Yes.
in the 1930s and just doubled down on it. And the Fritos thing and the Cracker Jack thing, they all hit right around...
Didn't he buy the recipe for like $400?
$100.
$100. It was super cheap.
But they all hit right around the same time. Like, up until a certain point in the 19th century, snacks just didn't exist.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's very regional.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, in the 1930s, they take off, and it all has to do with innovation and invention. Like the ability of wax paper to seal things in to protect the freshness or to make these snacks last a little bit longer. And that's how Fritos became as popular as they were. They just were at the right time, wrapped in wax paper, later obviously plastic. And then they also partnered with Disney in the 1950s. They connected with the Lay's chip company.
Yeah.
And these guys were first ones.
1961, they joined together.
Yeah.
And Doolan he just absolutely loved this. He's like, everyone should love this. Everyone should love this. So I guess in San Antonio, when he was first starting out in his company, all he did was drive around in his Model T and trying to sell these to different restaurants. And he was selling them straight out of his Model T, like driving around like an ice cream truck.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So, all right, same year. All right, these both became in the same year, 1932, Lay's potato chip. So
Same year, yeah.
Same year. Herman W. Lay.
Herman W. Lay, yeah.
And I can tell you this, I ate out of some potato chips. Some crazy amount of potato chips. Blake, what do you think? Have you ever seen me go a day without eating potato chips?
No. Actually, maybe one day, but actually probably a couple days when you were on the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah, when I was out on the trail. I mean, when I couldn't carry them.
Yeah.
But I can tell you the one thing I craved was chips.
So do you know that
Chips and Oreos, and I'm going to talk about Oreos soon.
the salty snack, the chips, the salty snacks are the biggest selling in America. The rest of the world, it's crunchy chocolate. Crunchy chocolate. Yeah. In Europe, it's crunchy chocolate. It's chocolate with a crisp or chocolate with nuts. Yeah. The snack thing is mad. And it's so regional. Yeah.
All right. So, and you've been to I've never been to England.
You've missed nothing.
So, well,
Twice.
If you go to try and find a Lay's potato chip in England, it says you won't find it unless you ask for what?
Crisps.
Walkers.
Walkers is Lay's. That's right. Yeah.
Walkers.
Yeah.
So I just that's the weirdest thing.
Okay, so we mock
And in
the
Ireland, they're chipsies.
crisps.
Okay.
Okay, so Walker's crisps in Ireland
Okay.
are nothing.
Okay.
We have Tato in Ireland.
What is it?
Tayto. Don't argue with me here. I brought Americans to Ireland.
Yes.
You eat Tato crisps, chips. You eat Tato crisps. You might never want to eat anything else again for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
that good.
Yeah, and we mock the English.
Well, I don't want to
chips,
do that.
'cause-
I don't want to do that because I love me some chips, man.
All right.
Don't ruin it for me.
All right. So Derek, let me ask you this. So,
Yeah.
So what's like one flavor of crisp, like either in the Ireland or England, that you are glad did not come over to America?
Oh.
And is it the prawn cocktail?
Well, the prawn cocktail was a British thing. In Ireland, it was very straightforward. It was salt and vinegar, cheese and onion. And it was fuck all else, right? The Brits were all, the Brits are prawn cocktail people. The Irish we're potato people.
Yeah.
We're not prawn cocktail people.
Yeah.
What's a
Yeah.
prawn cocktail? What is that? You're talking about like a shrimp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a prawn cocktail flavored potato chip. It's an English thing. It's wrong.
On a chip?
It's wrong. You know the way England is wrong?
Yeah. Well, their food's awful.
There you go.
So that's popular.
Yes.
I rest my
So
case.
instead of sour cream and onion, they have prawn cocktail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, but we'll say, but one flavor of chip that really like love so much is actually comes from Canada. It's all dressed.
Yeah, you like those. I'm not a big fan.
No.
Yeah,
No.
I'm not a big fan.
Oh, okay, fine.
The
fine.
Canadians gave us bacon.
Yeah.
They should have left it at that.
Yeah. So
Okay.
That's what I say.
I mean, they put like brown gravy on their fries.
It's wrong.
Call it poutine or something like that. I know some people like it, but I'm not. No.
No.
I'm give me a crispy fried and some ketchup. I'm good. All right. One snack I eat every single night before I go to bed.
Oreos.
I eat at least 2 Oreos every night with milk.
Really?
I used to be 5.
You
My
dunk?
metabolism. Oh hell yeah! My metabolism slowed down, so I had to slow down my Oreo intake.
I have so many questions right now.
Blake, is it true?
It is true.
Right now, the white chocolate covered Oreos are out, and I bought 4 boxes on Sunday.
I'm going to admit something to you. I have never bought an Oreo in my life. I've eaten 1 or 2, maybe if I was at somebody's place. I've never bought Oreos.
So addicted. I'm so addicted. It came out in 1912.
Yeah.
And actually, it was not the first cookie like that. The Hydrox came out before it did.
Okay.
But the Oreo made it right.
Clearly.
Yeah, the Oreo made it right. It's crazy.
Wait, hold on. So what was the name of the first cookie? Like that Hydrox?
Hydrox.
Okay, that definitely sounds appetizing. Definitely.
Yeah, but
We should-
if you Google it right now, Blake, and you put an Oreo and a Hydrox side by side,
They look the exact same,
Yeah,
don't
they look
they?
the exact same. Hydrox, I think they stopped making them about 15, 20 years ago. Now Oreos just adds more flavors, which means I have to try every single one of them. So you've never had any Oreo whatsoever.
I've never bought. I've eaten a traditional whatever. I've eaten one.
I'm
Like
bringing
if I'm
in a
at
white-
somebody's house,
I'm
but I've
bringing-
never eaten any of the
Do
other
you like
ones.
white chocolate?
I do.
All right, I'm bringing in a white chocolate Oreo next week just for you to try on air, because I'm telling you, it's
Fair
so
enough.
good, so good. All right, so the Nabisco company. All right, so that's who Oreo is made by.
Right.
All right, so do you know what Nabisco stands for?
I have no idea.
National Biscuit Company.
Nabisco, National Biscuit Company.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what happened was, like we were talking about earlier, it was very regional.
Yeah.
All right, but Nabisco, the National Biscuit Company,
Nabisco.
you know, which the biscuits are basically crackers, is what
So-
they were. So that's where the snack really
We would
started.
call in Ireland and England, in Europe, what we call cookies in America. They're biscuits.
Yes.
Over there.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So
Yeah,
the National
all right.
Biscuit Company, and what happened was they realized, well, if we started working together, all these different regions, then we'll have a stronger reach and we can get our product out further. So they started buying little bakeries
Oh.
here and there, and that's how they became the National Biscuit Company.
Bastards.
Yeah.
Brilliant, though.
Yeah.
you fi-
okay.
did you
Yeah. So I actually found it, and they're still being produced today.
Hydrox
Hydrox.
is still being produced. Oh, okay. I thought they stopped. So
Fascinating.
But Oreos are that is my kryptonite when it
Yes,
comes
Oreos.
to food. Comes to food, Oreos is when I went gluten free, I could not find. I had to put an asterisk beside it. I was like, I couldn't find a good cookie that was gluten free.
Please don't remind us of the bad times. Dad.
Yeah.
Like I never made you go gluten free. I made you try it, but I was gluten free for almost 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I've been gluten free for about 8 hours every day when I'm asleep.
yeah, I know. It's
So I want to talk one thing about the snack thing, the snacks and the innovation of plastics and commercials, television, advertising. It all comes together. It's all part of the same. Like snacking up until 1950 is like, there's some, and then in the 50s, the graph just goes, straight up. But one of the things I discovered when I was looking at the history of snacks, in 1941, when America joined World War II, what was the average weight of a general enlisted, a GI man? What was the average weight?
I'm gonna say probably 145, 150.
144 pounds.
Yeah. I've always been pretty average.
Right. Snacking kicks off in the 50s, goes crazy, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. The average weight of an American male in 2020, 198 pounds. And the credit to that is processed food, snacks.
I was going to say, I think that probably has more to do with the processed foods and
anything.
The volume of food.
The volume of food and the volume of processed
here's
food,
the thing, like if you travel, you don't get meals like you do in the United States.
No.
Like literally they give you so much food in the United States. It's extremely, extremely wasteful.
Yeah.
But what are we told as kids?
Clean your plate.
Finish your plate. You better finish your plate.
Yeah.
So people naturally I'm a guy who stops eating and I'll take stuff home. So
yeah, but the snack thing is absolutely incredible.
I didn't transfer that along to Blake. Blake finishes his plate. He thinks it's supposed to be a roll, right?
Yes.
It's amazing.
But you don't like leftovers that much, so.
No, I mean, unless from like a certain Japanese hibachi steakhouse.
Yeah, he likes Japanese.
Here's something else I discovered.
Uh-huh.
Who snacks more, men or women?
I'll say women.
I'll say women.
It's women.
Yeah, I'll say women.
Overwhelmingly.
Yeah.
Women, if men snack once a day, the thing I read, and again, I checked a couple of this, if men snack once a day, women snack 3 times a day.
I can tell you this. I have a trait of attracting certain women, and one thing that is always 100% true is no matter who I'm attracted to, they love ice cream.
Yep.
They love ice cream. Every one of them love ice cream. I love ice cream too.
Well,
which
to
is
be
good.
fair,
I love snack.
It's ice cream.
What
is not to love about ice cream?
Oh, I love ice cream. So what's your ice cream go-to?
Okay, my ice cream go-to, straight up, I have Americone Dream from Ben & Jerry's.
Okay.
But if not, just vanilla. If you've got a good vanilla ice cream, I don't need anything else.
Yeah. Vanilla ice cream?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
See, I love a good salted caramel. And Blake, just tell him what my go-to is. It's such
Dulce
a hoity.
de leche, Haagen-Dazs.
Yeah, Haagen-Dazs, Dolce.
Yeah.
Leche,
So we actually got it in 3 places. The Johannesburg Airport in South Africa, some place in Mexico, and obviously here.
We were in Tulum.
Tulum.
In Mexico.
You know what I got in Tulum? The Benz. I almost fucking died.
Oh gosh. You ate the wrong ice.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Montezuma, that's where it was at.
Yeah.
So
all right. So one final thing in the ass. So obviously most of us probably eat snacks like on long road trips. What is your guys' go-to road snacks?
Blake, I'm gonna admit something right here. I am not a snack guy.
Really?
You
crushed those Fritos. So.
I did. They were in front of me. I never buy snack food. The only reason I would eat snack food is if I'm at somebody's house or somebody puts it in front of me. I'm not a snack guy. If I'm on the road, I don't snack. I might stop for.
I mean, like Hurricane. I mean, we load up on snack.
I'm terrible.
And I'm not a big meal guy, but I am a snack guy. So
see, I'm the opposite. I'm a breakfast, lunch, dinner, no snacks.
For me on road trips, I'm going to say it's probably Pringles.
Really?
Because you can reseal them. They're protected. They can get banged around.
I've never bought Pringles in my life.
Ever. You haven't Oreo or Pringles.
Never bought them. I've eaten them. I've never bought them.
Wow.
I know.
All right,
Blake, what about you? What's yours?
All right, so probably go for Gatorade and there are probably some combos.
Combos. All right, little protein.
I don't even know what combos are.
It's a pretzel stuffed with like either cheese or peanut butter.
Never had them.
Wow, you are a non-snacker. I appreciate you doing the snacks then. I thought everyone's, like I have everyone in my mind as being a snacker.
No, not at all.
All right, well, we gotta say goodbye and say thank you to all our sponsors again. Appreciate you guys out there. If you would, make sure you're sharing this and get it out there. We're trying to get this Bollox thing going. We really have a wonderful
We really
time.
are trying to get our Bollox thing going.
Yeah, we're having a fun time doing it. We're getting great response. Check us on YouTube if you want to share with your friends out there on that. But, this is Bollox Talks and Tangents.
Join us next Thursday. Thanks very much indeed.
Bye-bye now.